Okay guys, in this video we're going to be doing 6.62 CAM. This is a standard IPT and we are going to be starting on the XY plane. To start off, I'm going to be creating a rectangle. This rectangle has a width of 3.19 inches and a height of 1.5. I'm going to be placing a point somewhere on this line. I don't want to lock it in with the center point of this line. I just want to make sure that that point happens to be right there. I'm then going to dimension this line to be 0.94. And then I'm going to use the arc button to create an arc that I'm then going to connect to this top line. I'm going to give this arc a dimension, I'm going to give this arc a radius of 2 inches, and then I'm going to use my tangent button to lock in this arc with this line. Once I do that, that line then turns black and I can keep moving. I'm also going to be placing a circle right here somewhere within this rectangle, and this hole is going to have a diameter of 0.62, and then I'm going to give it its vertical location of 0.75 and its horizontal location of 0.62 times 2. Okay. Before I move further, I am also going to create 2 lines, one like that and another like this. Okay. These lines are going to have an angle of 30, and this one the same thing down here of 30. And then I'm going to trim these 2 lines. Now the reason why I over-exaggerated the lines in the first place was so that they don't connect with anything, like they don't hit any midpoints or any other lines or points on our drawing. Both of these lines are going to be 0.62 long, and I'm just touching the angled line and then bringing my dimension away. And this is what I need, so go ahead and finish your sketch. Once you have this, we are going to extrude this. I'm going to split this symmetrically and give it a depth or a dimension of 224. Okay? Once you have that, we're going to add some cutouts. Go ahead and place a sketch on this surface right here. So we're looking at it like this. And we are going to create 2 rectangles, one like this and one like this. I'm going to just connect the mid points of these lines here, so that way I make sure that these rectangles don't go anywhere. And then I'm going to connect the midpoint of this line with the overall midpoint of my object, and that locks everything into place. And then I can kind of readjust the size of my rectangles as needed. I know I did that in a kind of backwards way, but here are my 4 dimensions that I need for these 2 rectangles. And once you have that, go ahead and extrude both rectangles. And we're going to be cutting this all the way through, so change it to through all and say OK. And oh, I totally forgot to do something, but that's okay, we can add it right here. We're going to make another sketch on that same face that we made. And we're going to project this rectangle here, and we're going to draw 2 lines. And remember, I'm just over exaggerating my lines so that they don't connect to anything. And I'm going to give this an angle of 45 and this other line an angle of 45. I'm now going to trim these lines so that they are fitting within this box. And these lines have a dimension of 0.62 and 0.62. So once you have that, go ahead and extrude. We are just going to be cutting out these triangular sections and make sure that we're cutting through all and say OK. Now we need to place a hole right here. So we're going to use our hole button and select this surface. I'm actually going to turn this so we're looking at it from this angle. And I want to change the diameter of this circle before I go any further because this is way too big. I'm going to type in 0.56 so that way it's a good size hole. And the termination is just going to be 0.5. And the drill point is just going to be flat. Alright, so now let's locate it. So locating a circle or a hole is simple, but make sure that you're not hitting enter too early. So to locate where this hole is going, I'm going to click on this left line and type in 1.12. I'm not going to hit enter. Then I'm also going to click on this line down here and type in 0.75. As soon as I hit enter, it creates that circle. But until I do that, like let's say that I wanted to re-input my information, I could. But now, as soon as I hit enter, oops, or say OK, it creates that circle or that hole. .63 is in the metric system, so go to New, go to the pull-down menu of ENUS, choose metric, and then make sure that you are choosing standard MMIPT. We are going to be creating this in steps. Alright, so we're going to create our first part on the XY plane. We're going to create two circles. One circle and another circle. The first, or the outer circle, is going to have a diameter of 41, and the inner circle is going to have a diameter of 22. Oh, not 0.22, just regular 22. Once you have that, go ahead and finish your sketch, and we are going to extrude just this donut shape. We're going to split it down the middle so that it is symmetric, and it is going to be extruded 44 millimeters. Okay, so that's done. Let's create a new sketch, and instead of choosing any of our faces that we have here, we're going to go to our origin and select the XY plane. Now I'm going to project my geometry, so I'm just going to click here and see the yellow lines, and now I'm going to create two rectangles, a horizontal rectangle and a just kind of like a rectangle like this. Okay, let's go ahead and give this some dimensions. This is going to be 16 millimeters tall, and it extends from this midpoint or the origin 76 millimeters. This rectangle here extends 38 millimeters down and has a width of 51. Okay, finish your sketch and extrude. Make sure that you select both rectangles, but I want to hold down my shift key. Let me rotate this to the front. Hold down my shift key unselect this and unselect, well, no, just I want to unselect this wedge of the circle. Now I'm going to symmetrically extrude this I'm going to symmetrically extrude this 34 millimeters. So I end up with something that looks like this. Now I need to add a few more features before I'm done. Create a sketch on this top face. Project this line, or the geometry, it's fine. Create a circle right on that midpoint and just go to the edge and finish the sketch. If your circle is black, that's great. If it's not, then you did something wrong and you might have to fix it. So we're going to extrude this down to this face and go ahead and put it like this. Then we're going to make a sketch here and we're going to project the geometry. And I just want you guys to create a rectangle like this. Now let's go ahead and place a circular feature right here. And we're going to project our geometry so that this center point highlights. And we're going to draw a 25 millimeter circle and extrude that 3 millimeters up. We have 2 holes to place, and I'm just going to place some points, and those points will go directly in the center of this circle, and that point is 41 millimeters away from this other point, and for whatever reason it didn't lock, so I'm just going to lock it back into place and finish my sketch. Now I'm going to go ahead and place some holes. These holes have a diameter of 11, and they do go through the entire object, and go ahead and say OK, and this part is mostly done. We just have to add some fillets, so go ahead and go to fillet, change the radius to 3, and I'm going to choose this, and this, and then turn it around so that way I can also choose this over here. Go ahead and say OK, and if we look at this part is now complete. If you need help changing to the metric system, please let me know. If you guys have any other questions, please let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video.